Hi, and welcome back to Between the Benches, your go-to place for all hockey news. There's been a lot going on in the hockey world lately with all the series, all the news of trades happening, signings, draft lottery, and so on. So I thought today we'd look over the draft lottery. The big guys in the Apple won it. We got their jersey right there. Yep, the Rangers won it. They're going to be getting Lafreniere come October time. It was pretty nuts to see that a playing team was going to win the lottery. And so what I kind of want to highlight today was I know a lot of franchises were, pretty upset that a playoff team was going to get Lafreniere, and also that, they fell in the draft. They're not going to pick somewhere good, and, it's all a wash now. No one really cares anymore about the draft. And so I just wanted to go through, the rankings now of where every team is going to pick in the draft. And going back to 2011, I'm going to look at some guys who went in that position. And, yeah, we're just going to talk about, you can really find a good gem because in the end, draft position doesn't really matter. It matters more about your scouting and how you pick guys and develop them. So, starting number one, I know it's kind of weird if you look at the board that we have McDavid and the Rangers. That'd be a pretty wild trade, but I don't think it'll happen for either side. So, number one, obviously McDavid, greatest player to go first overall since Crosby. I mean, kid has it all, generational talent. And then sliding right down to two is Eichel. Same draft. I mean, really, in any other draft, Eichel probably would have gone first overall. Just a fantastic center. And then third, we have another fantastic center, also in Edmonton, Draisaitl, who went in the year 2014. And he's really been, that rock for Edmonton. Kind of surprising he slid to third, to be honest. In the fourth pick, in 2013, we have Seth Jones. Seth Jones was just, people were pretty surprised when he went there, but he's been just a rock, playing 65 minutes a game in that one game against Toronto. You can really ask for a better defenseman, and he's still young. And then number 5, and the reason why I'm wearing this jersey, Vaxshow Lakers, shout out to the people in Sweden. Elias Pettersson played for this team when he went 5th. I remember a lot of Canucks fans were pretty, who? Cody Glass just went after him. I can't believe this happened. But, man, has Pettersson been just, the most dynamo player in the playoffs. Probably the most fun player left to watch, honestly, because a lot of defensive teams are left. So, shout out to the boys in orange, and shout out to Pettersson in Vancouver for really being, just a fantastic pick at 5. And that was only in 2017, too, so he's really going to grow coming forward. Going on to number 6, we have Sean Monahan in 2013. He's been that great center for the Flames. He's never going to be that, McDavid or Eichel or Draisaitl, but when you have a guy who can put in 20 goals every year, no issue, he gels with his line mates, he's a big body, he can really do it all. So, getting that guy at 6'2", that's a fantastic pick. If Anaheim can find a guy like that to replace Ryan Getzlaf, I mean, that's just going to be a fantastic thing for them. Coming in at number 7, another fantastic center, is Mark Scheifele in 2011, the first pick of the new Winnipeg Jets. And he's really become the face of the franchise. That kid is just so good. He can really play it all. Every year it seems to be one-upping himself. I think it was 2017 he said, I can be as good as McDavid and Crosby, and we all kind of laugh, but every year he's starting to get closer and starting to get, more and more talent. And so I'm not saying he's going to get there. That's pretty hard of a standard to live up to, but if anyone could do it, it would be Mark Scheifele. He lives and breathes hockey. He's just such a complete player. And the guy that went right after him in the exact same draft was Jean Couturier, who's just such a fantastic two-way forward. I mean, he's not the point guy that Scheifele is, but honestly, do you take him above Scheifele? Because he's just such a good, two-way center, controls the game. And honestly, that 2011 draft for centers was pretty fantastic, as we can see. Coming in at 8th, how this guy fell to 8th is beyond me. Bo Horvat, Captain Canuck, really just a fantastic player. Really did amazing things this offseason. Has been a strong leader too. We always knew he had the skill and the defensive game, and now he's showing the offense and he's showing the leadership. I think he's been the only guy who could have succeeded the Canucks with a C, and he wears it so proud. Coming in, number 9, in the 2015 draft again, which might go down as the greatest draft in history, we got Mikko Rantanen. I mean, really, when you got guys like Rantanen going all the way at 9th, it's just such a fantastic draft. And to find a guy who can play that upbeat tempo with Nathan McKinnon, I mean, you really can't complain about such a good player like that. He's just such a force when he's out there. Love the kid. Great contract he's on right now, too. I think they really got a good message going along over in Colorado. Coming in at number 10, Philip Forsberg. Famous bad trade that he went a part of in 2012 when he was drafted. A couple years later when Washington flipped him. But, offensive winger. Did the Svechnikov style goal, the mission goal. He's really just a great sniper, a guy you always want on your left wing, would fit in top line any place he goes. And just, again, that guy at 10th, he's not a world game breaker, but he's just such a solid player. Coming in next is Max Domi, and he went in the 2013 draft. And Max Domi, I could have gone with some, like Denis Gurianov in 2015, and he's really been, popping off for Dallas, just such a fantastic player. And I think next year he's going to explode, but I went with the more proven player, the more, got a bit of an edge to his game, physical, you see all the photos of the crazy Max Domi, and I think he's just, a really strong player for Montreal if he stays, but I love the kid. Wherever he goes, he's going to have great success. And just getting a guy like that who's just, can be put anywhere in the lineup and can play any style of game, physical, goal scoring, defensive. You don't get guys like that often. Coming in at 13, we got Nick Suzuki. I did go with the unproven guy this time. After one great playoff series, though, watching those games, I was so convinced with what Nick Suzuki brings. I am such a big fan of him now. He just brings this amazing two-way physical game. He's not a big guy. He's not tall, but man, does he play like he's a dump truck. I just love watching Nick Suzuki play, Everyone's comparing him to Bergeron. That's a bit of a rough comparison, living up to such a great player. But if he can even get halfway there, he's just going to be a fantastic player and a natural center, something that Montreal desperately needs. Coming in at 14th with the electronic disco music Oilers, we got Charlie McAvoy, who went in 2016, and he is just such a good defenseman. Every time I hear someone complain about him, like, oh, Charlie McAvoy, he's so dirty, and he runs around like the Bruins do and runs guys, and I'm like, God, that's what they want us to say. He's so good like that. He's just such a good, a physical defenseman, gets in your head. Many games this year I watched, I'm like, God, I hate Charlie McAvoy. God, would I want him on my team though? Absolutely, in a heartbeat I would take him. He's such a versatile player. I just love watching him. Not when my team's playing him, take a step back and watch him, you'll really see all the little thing he does. But man, does he have a way to get in your head and get really annoying. Coming in at number 15, Pittsburgh Penguins apparently hates draft picks, so we have Toronto on the board, and we got Dylan Larkin. What an amazing player to go in 2014 to Detroit. The Michigan Magician has just been, the heart and soul of that team. He's the face of the franchise. He's going to wear the C next year. He's going to be a key point in this rebuild. Is he a number one center? I think so. I know there's some talk, if you put him on a good team, would he be? But, everything he brings, the cycle, the speed, his transition game, getting a, north to south, 200-foot game with just such great speed, and the more the team gets developed and stronger, I think he's just going to be a fantastic player. There's a lot riding on his back, but I love Dylan Larkin. I think he's a great player for Detroit. So when we look at all these fantastic names, we got a couple guys who aren't, super great, we aren't a couple guys who aren't, proven yet, but would I take any of these guys on this board? Absolutely. Would any of these guys have a hard time cracking the first line? Absolutely not. I think getting any of these guys shows that, the draft is extremely important, and I know it sucks when you really, speaking to Kings fans here, speaking to Ottawa fans here, speaking especially to Detroit fans here, I'm terribly sorry about what happened, but you can't get upset when you lose a lottery because, you may not get that McDavid. But how many cups does McDavid have, right? When you look at guys like Pedersen, who's been a rock in the playoffs, when you look at guys like Scheifele and Couturier, you don't need that number one guy to win the Stanley Cup. It helps. A Lafreniere would be great rocking a Detroit jersey, but I think whoever Detroit picks fourth will be fantastic. I think whoever Edmonton picks 14th is going to be fantastic. The 2020 draft is looking really good this year. I'm really excited. I think we're going to do a couple draft videos for sure, talk about some prospects, talk about who's going to pick where, and we're definitely going to do some mock drafts. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Let me know down below what you think. How do you feel about, the Rangers winning the draft lottery? How do you feel about where your team's picking? And, do you think your guys are going to find a Larkin lane in the draft? Let me know. And thank you so much for checking in. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.